Hello and welcome to the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montia, occasionally known as the really well-lit mayor of PHNX. And of course, this show is brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. You can get the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use our code PHNX. For betting $1 on any football game this weekend, you will get $150 in free bets instantly. That code again is PHNX, just like your destination right here. Joining me, as always, is my friend and co-host. It's Thunderstick Jesse Friedman. Thunderstick!
Derek, you're looking great. The lighting
Isn't
looks
it? It's
good on you.
ridiculous, right? It's really good lighting. It's really good lighting in here.
I know you love
give
it, but
up
I
to our
swear
producer.
you always look like that, Derek. It
Well, thank
literally
you.
looks the same as every show.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I mean, even in my office at home where I do the lighting myself. But I will say I'm excited to see you. I had a really fun time watching baseball this past weekend, as we discussed a little bit yesterday. And I kind of wanted to talk about that a bit, as well as give some tank season updates and spy on one of our friends. It's tank season. It's tank season, but tank season might sadly be coming to an end soon. Obviously, it is coming to an end because there's only 6 more games in the D-backs season. Right now, they sit at 50 and 106, still tied with the Baltimore Orioles for that final and dubious worst record in baseball, which will get you the #1 draft pick. But things aren't looking so good, Jesse. We'll get into that a bit, but I want to talk about some good things. And the reason why tank season doesn't look so good, it took a brief hiatus on Saturday night, even in my heart, as I watched a stadium full of baseball fans watch the Diamondbacks versus the Dodgers. It was a sight to behold, Jesse.
It really was. I mean, 7-2. The Dodgers never led in the game. Just like every time the Dodgers come to town, right? I mean, the
Oh yeah,
Diamondbacks just
that's
dominate them
exactly how they
every
write it up.
time. Yeah, I don't know why this was noteworthy for you, Derek, but
Oh
but
man.
yeah, I mean, almost 30,000 fans in the stands, which for this season is a really, really high number. So
Yeah.
obviously I wasn't there, you were, but I'm sure that would have been a fun atmosphere. And I know some fun things also happens throughout the game, which maybe you can share a little bit more
Oh, I
with
mean,
us
yeah, I
about
can. I don't know if I can. Things got wild. Like I said on Twitter, it was like the Stefan bit where he talks about, the hottest club in downtown Phoenix is Chase. It has
Right, right.
everything. Kershaw getting just slaughtered, Gallen and Marte looking like all-stars. There was a blow-up sex doll being passed around. I thought it was hilarious, but it is a family atmosphere, so maybe just bring a beach ball next time. Either way, it was
Yeah.
a good time. There was a full band in right field that there, like, no one could even sit in front of the drummer because he had a full drum kit in front of him. It was incredible. I think the bigger thing though was there was just weird energy. Like, it's hard to discuss energy. The atmosphere at Chase Field has felt flat all season long, even during games that had a lot of people at it. This
Yeah.
game, it was Hispanic Heritage Night, which means something to me personally, right? I'm Puerto Rican, and even though it was like a lot of like different cultures and everything, it had a great celebratory feel that night of just Hispanic culture and baseball. I also really just thought that it was a fun vibe. People were having a good time. People were actually dancing in the aisles and stuff at times, like together as couples. It was
Mm.
just something I haven't seen all season long. I absolutely missed the ballpark, especially on the weekends, looking like that. And for me, it was the best game of the entire year. You have the Tyler Gilbert no hitter. You have all sorts of
I
other
was gonna
games that
say,
were,
yeah.
well, I
Wow,
mean,
better than the Tyler Gilbert no-hitter?
it's different. It was a different vibe. The Tyler Gilbert no hitter was very calm. I think everybody in the building kind of expected that to fall apart any minute. And even those of us in the press box, we weren't really in that no hitter zone until that 8th inning when he got out of it with 3
Sure.
pitches. It was the "oh my god, it's happening" gif from The Office, right? It's just it was the crowd. It really was. I think one thing I had mentioned on Twitter was that the Diamondbacks themselves seemed very laid back lately. It was my first chance to be around the team, not on Zoom, but from what I saw during the game, before the game, they were just having a good time. Everything was very loose. It's hard to do when your record is as bad as this is. People expect you to just be somber and not be having a good time. And nobody really wants that, right? I mean, when I've seen them pick on losing teams that were doing celebrations and stuff in the dugout. It's like, why? At least they're having a good time with their season, and the few games that they win. I was happy to see the Diamondbacks just loose as a team and happy and smiling. The results were the results. The results kind of drive you a bit insane, knowing that this team has already lost 106 games this season, and they were able to beat one of the best teams in baseball like they did on Saturday night. Sure, it was just one night, but it was a pretty special night to see Gallen pitching the way he was and Marte performing the way he was. It was just very encouraging for the future of this team.
I view it as kind of analogous to, I can't remember off the top of my head if the Diamondbacks have had a game like that this year, but I view it as analogous to games where, you're throwing in your left fielder to pitch because you're behind by so many runs, right?
Sure.
Those games that turn into to games that go from being an absolute miserable blowout to being actually kind of fun because you've kind of come to terms with the fact that you're going to lose the game and you're just having fun with it. And obviously the Diamondbacks won this game on Saturday night that we're talking about, but it sort of had the feel of that, right? Like where the Diamondbacks have sort of come to terms with the fact that, okay, they're going nowhere this season, right? They've lost well over 100 games already. There's still a week of the season left to go, but they're just kind of having fun with it at this point. And
all you can do.
Yeah, it's all you can do. And like you said, being there at the stadium, it sounds like the fans really enjoyed that energy and just sort of the laid back vibe that they had on Saturday night. And also the fact that it turned into a win for them.
Absolutely. And there were so many Dodgers fans present. Obviously, it was nice to send them home unhappy. And even they didn't seem to be having a bad time when their team was down by, 7-1. I saw plenty of people kind of move to the concourse and take the party over there where they didn't have to look at the baseball game anymore, which that's a pro move right there. I applaud that move. Like if you're still going to stay in the stadium and just move it up to the concourse, my hat's off to you. I also, I think it was, again, a good step in the right direction without disrupting tank season too much. Right. They have a lot of bad things that have happened, and we want to continue to see them lose games at this point of the season. At least one of us does. I'll let you guys guess on which that is. Probably Jesse the GOAT over here, but I will say that at this point, I do want to see him have a good time while losing games.
Yeah, and I mean, this week will be interesting, right? The Diamondbacks are in sort of a weird position, especially right now going into the series against the Giants, where they actually have a chance to play spoiler, right? Like they were able to salvage one game from the Dodgers, which wasn't super significant. I mean, they still lost the series, but they could also spoil things for the Giants here in this series. Obviously, there's still quite a bit of battle happening between those two teams over this last week of the season. And the Diamondbacks still have something to play for. So I hope personally, Derek, while they're having fun, while they're hopefully a little bit more relaxed out there on the field, go get some wins, man. Go get some wins.
What do they have to play for, Jesse?
Enough of this tank season crap, Derek. I'm sick of it.
What do they have to play for? Pride. Come on, Jesse. What do they have to play for? They have the ability to play themselves out of getting the #1 draft pick, which at this point may or may not be Elijah Green based on the way he's kind of moved around. But this is a tank season podcast, Jesse. This is a tank season.
Oh my God.
As long as I have the controls over what draft
you have the
on
producer on your side, Derek. That's what
I don't know. I'm just saying it's a big tank season. There's a lot of tank season supporters in this building. I'm just saying. But you're right. I mean, they do have the ability to play spoiler. They also missed the playoffs, and all sorts of other battles and races across baseball also bring me joy. The AL wild card situation is nuts. There's a lot of good races still left at this point. Tank season by no stretch of the imagination is my favorite race. And yeah, see, I hate the Dodgers more too, and would much prefer the Dodgers to prove that. Yep, I agree with Matt.
We're
100%.
with you, Matt. We're
with you, Matt. Now, I do want to take a brief moment just to let everybody know once again that our business partnership here with DraftKings Sportsbook is all about them being the official sports betting partner of not only PHNX, but the official sports betting partner of the NFL. This weekend, you can go on there and once again use our code of PHNX And for betting $1 on any football game, and I do have to clarify when I say that, it's not Pop Warner at the park by your house, but it does have to be a college or NFL game on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And I don't know, the Pop Warner game might be on there. They did have WWE on there. Once again, I have to reiterate, as a pool that you could bet on for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. So, I mean, you might find anything on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. More importantly, what you're going to find is same game parlays, which I am a parlay guy now, Mr. Parlay. I'm going to add that to my monikers, along with the mayor of PHNX, and there's going to be all sorts
too
of
many, Derek.
Calm down, Thunderstick. Calm down, Thunderstick. But I will say that parlays have added a different level of fun to some of the bets that I've been making on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I've somehow always managed to miss on the third leg of my three option parlays, but I haven't missed on the 2 option ones. There's all sorts of options. You can do like every game for the weekend and see what you got in there. So go on there, see what's available, because DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. It's a great app. And the best part about it is that you can deposit and withdraw your cash at your convenience. So again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use our code of PHNX, and for betting $1 on any football game this weekend, you will get $150 in free bets instantly. As a reminder, 21 and over only, Arizona only. Gambling problem, dial 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And Jesse already has the DraftKings Sportsbook app all loaded. It's ready to go. He's signed in. He's created an account. And once it stops asking him what state he's in, and he's in Arizona, and the location comes up properly, he's going to be putting on some bets. He's going to be betting on the Diamondbacks, because we are going to be there together as a duo, checking out the Diamondbacks versus the Colorado Rockies this weekend. I'm excited to see you in person, and I'm excited to root for the Rockies while you root for the Diamondbacks.
Well, Derek, the moment I turn off airplane mode, I'm going straight to the app.
Yep.
And then I'm going to place some bets on the Diamondbacks against the Rockies this weekend. Because you know what? I think they might. There's obviously, they're not playing spoiler with the Rockies. Both teams are out of it. But I don't know, Derek, something to be said for finishing on a high note. And as we're going to get into later on, I'm not so sure if getting the number 1 overall pick is going to happen anyway at this point. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens this weekend.
Keep raining on tank season. Maybe the Rockies and the Diamondbacks will just end the games in the 7th inning and like do a legends race to decide who wins. Who knows?
Sure.
I mean, they should have a real senior moment where they all like, and I don't mean senior like senior, I mean senior in high school, but where they all like go jump in the pool or something. At this point, it's the end of both of their seasons. Rockies, once again, though, they have a lot more. I feel like they have a lot of momentum, but they did trade away one of their star players to the St. Louis Cardinals, much like the Diamondbacks have traded away. And they, like you said, Trevor Story isn't going to be here. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about trading away some of our favorite players to the St. Louis Cardinals on this edition of Spying on Our Exes. That's right.
It's painful, Derek.
We are creeping on Paul Goldschmidt and how good he has been. When you talk about him returning to form as he was at one time here at Chase Field, he absolutely has done that. Just a huge part of the Cardinals' current run. That 31 home run, 98 RBI, obviously going to break the 100 before the end of the season. Just slashing some great numbers, 294, 366, and a 517 slugging percentage. And, of course, the 883 OPS. Look at those numbers, Jesse. Did you think you would see Goldschmidt put those numbers up again, or did you think that his best days were behind him?
Honestly, I kind of thought his best days were behind him. There was a time there when Mike Hazen sort of looked like a genius for trading him at the perfect time. He really wasn't very good in his first year in St. Louis. Last year was a little bit better with a shortened season, but this year, man, he didn't actually start out well this year. That's what's strange, is he was not good for the first couple months of the year. You want to talk about a guy who's turned it on, Derek, since June 1st. All right, this is since June 1st. Paul Goldschmidt is 3rd in baseball in wins above replacement among position players. The only guys who are ahead of him are Juan Soto of the Nationals and Bryce Harper of the Phillies. The third best player in baseball since the beginning of June is Paul Goldschmidt. And that, I mean, he has not only, recovered who he was, but he's been one of the best players in the game over these last few months.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because for a while there, that trade really did make the Diamondbacks look like they came out at least on a comparable side of it, right? If
Yeah.
you didn't want to say that, obviously they didn't replace Paul Goldschmidt with an exact Paul Goldschmidt, but Christian Walker was putting up comparable numbers. Carson
Yeah.
Kelly has really started to come on, and this season has really become a leader when he wasn't injured. And Luke Weaver at times has even looked brilliant, but none of them have put it together consistently. And again, right around this time is when we kind of take out those binoculars and look over at what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing, see
Yeah.
what they're doing, and kind of say, oh, Goldie, we'd love to have you
Yeah.
back.
It's
But again,
crazy.
that contract is huge, and he deserves every penny of it, but it's not something
Right.
I would want to see the Diamondbacks paying and, being 20 games better than they are now, but still that bad.
It's just wild to me that they have both Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. Like, what have the Cardinals done to the bottom of the NL West? Oh man, I mean, it is crazy. But
They
I will
still
say
own
real
it.
quick, I'm planning to write about that this week, actually. So all of you should subscribe to gophnx.com. I'm going to write about the Goldschmidt trade and look back on it and delve into the details a little bit. There are some nuances here to take advantage of, like the fact that Goldschmidt only had 1 year left on his deal. So if the Diamondbacks had kept him, they wouldn't have him right now, right?
Yeah, very true.
He still could have signed somewhere else via free agency. So
And he
right
was going
now,
to, because he got Scott Boras as his agent, right? And you don't typically, go with Scott Boras if your intention isn't to squeeze some team for every dime that they can possibly pay you.
right. So it's hard. It's more challenging to say than what meets the eye. But I mean, right now it is obvious that Diamondbacks fans are in pain watching Paul Goldschmidt do what he's done. And I mean, the Cardinals are crazy right now. I mean, they won
Yeah.
like 15 consecutive games. They're running away with the second wild card spot in a race that was really close, and
Right.
now it's not even close anymore. The
And they
Cardinals are just far and away in the
didn't
lead
they
for that.
set didn't they set a franchise record for most consecutive wins this season? Which
I think they did. Yeah.
I found to be amazing for a team that has the lineage that the Cardinals have,
They've been around a long time. Yeah,
Well, and they're quietly the Yankees of the National League, right? When it comes
pretty
to World
much.
Series and, just
Yeah.
years of being competitive, even at times their acquisition of free agents, like we just talked about, their ability to kind of spend that money and make their team good year after year. Yes, they have rebuilding and downtimes, but you always hear the St. Louis Cardinals in the mix.
Yeah. They're one of those teams that just keeps on coming back year after year. They're not as much the Yankees because I don't know. The Yankees have this reputation of kind of buying their way to the top, whereas the Cardinals have just been really good at scouting and I mean their roster year after year is just they're one of the most consistent teams in the game, and a big part of that is plucking away guys like Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. When they're in unfortunate contract situations on teams like the Rockies and the Diamondbacks that just don't want to pay them when the time comes.
Well, we're getting a live update right now from our buddy Scotty, who says the Orioles are up 1 in the 7th inning. Hashtag tank season. Tank season lives on. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe we can get some sort of Orioles dropping up a game on them or getting a game back. Who knows? The Orioles just have a really tough, really tough schedule ahead.
Orange Birds, let's go.
Oh, yeah. You hear it. See, Jesse, it's all about tank season here in this building. I tried to tell you. That wasn't even
I'm not going to fit in when I get there, am I?
It's palpable. But yes, okay. So you mentioned, though, that article is coming to gophnx.com. And of course, we want you to go over there and sign up for a membership to read all of our articles that we're putting out there, all of our content. We're going to have other stuff too. I'm not just sticking to content. I got a little segment called the Diamond Mine that we have planned, as well as other goodies that we have in store. But please join us over there at gophnx.com and sign up either for an annual membership, which will get you a free t-shirt from our shop at phnxlocker.com. I still didn't get a t-shirt, Jesse. By the way, I tried one on. I'm an XL. just in case anyone wants to know.
You
But they
didn't
have
get it.
our
You just
logo.
tried it on, right?
I just tried it on. I wasn't allowed to keep the shirt. But again, you have your choice of which shirt you want to buy me if you sign up for an annual membership. You could ship it to me. I'll send you my address or whatever. I need somebody to get me a shirt. You can keep it for yourself, though. There's an amazing selection. Again, there's a silhouette of someone who may or may not be a current or former quarterback for the Cardinals. Of course, there's all sorts of options, and there's the very popular Coyotes design. Shout out to all of our Coyotes fans, by the way. I know so many people came over because of the absolute great in this business, Craig Morgan, being a part of PHNX, but I do want to say I am very thankful to see how many people are excited about, hockey in the Valley still at this point. I was worried about it for a time being. And I need that same excitement for the Diamondbacks, right? So we need to get back there, and we need to get fans back in the building and bring in that energy that I was talking about earlier. I know they suck. I know at times it sucks to go watch them lose, but isn't it still fun to go get like a gigantic corn dog and a little baseball hat filled with ice cream at least a couple of times a season? So we miss you. Come back out to the Diamondbacks games. And you know what? Like I was saying, sign up for a membership at gophnx.com. Either the annual membership, you can get that shirt, or if you want to try us out on a month-to-month option, you can do so. And your first month is only 50 cents. So we appreciate your support. And we just want to keep building this thing. We really love what we're doing here. I love talking to Thunderstick Jesse Friedman every week. I get to talk to this guy 5 times a week, and every single day it gets more and more interesting. Unlike his wall, Jesse, can we put a poster up behind you or
I'm
something? I will
man,
ship
Derek.
you a street sign.
I'm a busy man, all right?
For God's sakes. But yeah, okay. So again, advantage Baltimore simply because of their record right now with tank season. I think that's the reason why we're looking at that. They have 2 really tough series. Again, though, it's against division rivals, and they might just show up just because. And I get that. I get that neither of these teams are losing these games on purpose. All I ask is that Torey Lovullo maybe starts, I don't know, Matt Peacock,
You're not gonna do it.
2 out of these 6 games. I don't know. I mean, can we call up a youngster? I don't know. I'm just trying to say David Peralta used to pitch. He could at least start one of the 3 games in San Francisco. Whatever we can do to aid and abet this tank season process. I need Elijah Green in my life. Again, an article coming to Go PHNX that I've been talking about for way too long is a breakdown of this young man. And I've watched so much video of him that I am 100% convinced that he is, as people have said, the next coming of both Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Trout together combined in one player.
Wow.
Well, I know. Well, there's no way you can live up to that, but I'm just putting it out there. Just
before you just said Mike Trout, now you're throwing Ken Griffey Jr.'s name in there.
Oh yeah, I mean,
where's Babe Ruth? Why don't we throw Babe Ruth in there, Derek?
Compare him to him. Don't worry. Meanwhile, we're ignoring everything that our boy Alec is doing with Reno, right? I mean, Alec is absolutely hitting the cover off the ball and continues to almost every single outing with the Reno Aces. It's amazing what this young man is doing. I think I'm getting more excited for him than I am for them drafting Elijah Green.
I swear the Reno Aces Twitter account tweets about other players occasionally, but based on how good that man has been since he got there, it literally feels like my Twitter feed some nights is just Alec Thomas highlights over and over and over again.
It's an Alec Thomas fan account. That's what it is.
It's not literally
a minor league account anymore.
It sort of feels that way. But yeah, I mean, he's been that good. And I think yesterday, going back to our conversation about free agency and center fielders, we forgot to mention yesterday, Derek, that Alec Thomas very well may warrant some significant playing time in center field here pretty soon. Not so sure you're going to want to go get a man like Starling Marte when you've got Alec Thomas banging on the door and a guy who could probably play a pretty decent center field defensively.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that. I think that would lead me to believe that if they did go after a free agency option for center field, it might be more like Jackie Bradley Jr. or somebody like that, just to add the depth and somebody out there so that he wouldn't have to play every day. But yeah, calling him up as soon as possible, might be that key to fill that position. I just want to see them, designate these players as certain positions and just crazy. I know it's crazy, but I'd love to see Lovello just go out there next season and have more consistency to those aspects of his lineups and where he's playing guys defensively. Late game shifts and stuff, that's fine. I mean, if you want to move someone because of logistics and taking a pitcher out, if they're still doing the, pitchers hitting next season, that's fine. I don't want to see him doing that with the lineup regularly and putting guys in positions where they don't naturally play.
On the Alec Thomas note, I just think we have to acknowledge the inevitable season-ending shoulder injury that I'm sure he will suffer in spring training, because that's just sort of how things go for this baseball team.
What did you just do?
Can
we cut Jesse's camera off? Can we just end this now? I mean,
it's a reverse jinx, Derek. It's a reverse jinx.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, right? Beer hour was closed early. It ended beer time very early.
Beer didn't last long. Jordan Lawler didn't last long. Corbin Carroll didn't last long. I'm just saying, we call it out now. Maybe it won't happen. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I mean, again, that's another reason why I feel like this team should have never decapitated Baxter and worn his head on a TikTok video. More content you can get on gophnx.com. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see them, again, do anything drastic, but I would like to see them. I didn't mind this idea of bringing in some veteran guys on short-term deals to add depth and to give younger guys an opportunity to learn a little bit off of. But Bradley Jr. again didn't have a great season last year, so I don't know if he'd be the option. I looked at those center fielders 100 times and I couldn't really decide on who I would want outside of Starling Marte. So not a lot of options free agency wise.
I think you might just see the Diamondbacks go to Dalton Varsho a lot in center field. He's been, obviously, we've talked about the defense and how I don't think that's an ideal outcome, but he's been one of the guys they've put out there who has probably fared better than the other ones. I don't think you're going to see much of Pavin Smith out in center field anymore. But Dalton Varsho has been okay. He's made some nice plays recently. He seems to be showing signs of improvement. I could see them going to Dalton Varsho, and then maybe Alec Thomas comes up at some point. They're able to shift Varsho over to a corner outfield spot. In the end, they might not find themselves needing as much depth in center field as we initially thought they might.
Yeah, you're right. But again, I'm still not ready to cast anybody away at this point, considering how shallow they were depth-wise this season, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, well, thank you guys so much for checking out the show. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, we encourage you to go over to your favorite podcasting app. I got my Apple phone, and I'm doing that now. I need to brag about my Apple phone because this is it. Look at how many cameras it has, Jesse. It's ridiculous.
Well, this is your first live show with video to show it off to people.
So. Oh yeah. I'm excited. I'm a whole new person now. My friends say I'm terrible and arrogant, and I feel it in my veins. But you can go download us or subscribe to us on any of those podcasting apps: Apple, Stitcher, wherever you get it, Spotify. You can also, if you're listening to us right now as an audio podcast on one of those apps, you can subscribe to us over on the old YouTube, where we're churning out all sorts of content all the time. If you're an Arizona sports fan, hopefully you love it as much as my friend Chris has been loving the entire network. Shout out to Chris the Doula, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thunderstick, thank you so much for your time as usual, and I can't wait to see you on Friday.
Yeah, we're getting close. Go D-backs. Go D-backs this weekend.
No, don't start with me. Don't start with me. We're going to tear this town up, though. Like I said, we're going to paint the town red. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, kids, baseball's fun, but it's so much more fun when you bet on it. Go do it right now.